This is Judge Joe Brown, and you're watching We All Be News TV, the
News Free Dixie.
News Free Dixie for the 21st century.
Hello, Judge. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right, excellent. Well, We All Be is honored once again to have on the one and only Judge Joe Brown with his takes on what's going on in the world today in this particular news cycle. We're in second day of October. Also, Manpower Day. It's Man Time Day, the first Monday of every month. And we're here with Judge. How you doing tonight, sir?
All right, sir. Yeah, that's the thing I tried to get started. You know, we talked about it. Manpower, man time, man up.
That's right.
For the yin-yang balance, and everyone ought to get in and try to push that, even the women, because if the men are suffering, you ain't getting one.
That's right.
If you're straight, you can use one.
Well, speaking of man time and manning up, we recently lost another legend, Hugh HEfner. He died last week, I believe, at the age of 91, surrounded by loved ones. And I know you know a little bit thing about Hugh HEfner. Well, what are your thoughts about him and his legacy?
Go ahead, player. You had a nice run.
That's a good way.
Go ahead, player. You had a nice run.
Okay, that's cool. Also, you had some time. You spent some time at the Playboy Mansion, correct?
No, I haven't. I never did.
Okay.
It's interesting. I know where it is. I'd seen it. Been by the place, you know. Never met him. I knew some of his people.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. I see some of the feminists are talking nasty things about him, about what is it, objectifying women, etc. Oh, get over it. You know. So I'm an old chauvinist, so excuse me. So there you go.
What was it?
Melvin, rest in peace.
But wasn't Gloria Steinem the feminist icon? Was she a Playboy bunny at one point? Is that true?
I don't know. Might have been.
Okay. I just look at his track record in terms of civil rights. I know Dick talked a lot about him, Dick Gregory, giving him his break, and also the stance he took on I guess integration with his Playboy TV show. His first show included Ella Fitzgerald and Nat King Cole, along with Lenny Roots. And the Southern networks did not want to show his first TV show, but he stood his ground, and it ended up becoming very popular. But also, like,
a variety show. I caught it a few times.
Yeah. But I know that people talk about that as well. But I mean, he has such a complex legacy, but it is what it is. I mean, you can find good and bad. You can find bad and good. But it's like a very complex legacy.
Well, it's been some changes. I'm not sure they're all for the better. Like his daughter runs Playboy now. They don't do the centerfold anymore.
Okay.
But why buy the magazine? You know, it was always a nice exposure to the beauty of the woman's female form. And the articles were wide and varied.
Yeah, well.
We had a joke page, too, that was interesting.
The only thing about the fact that he's buried next to Marilyn Monroe. I mean, he's right next to a crypt or whatever the mausoleum they're located in.
I hadn't paid any attention to that, you know. For me, I don't like funerals and that stuff because after you're gone, you're dead meat. While you're alive, you're dynamic, you do things, there's your personality, and you are what you are. So where he rests is unimportant. What counts is what you did. So he did a lot.
Okay, that's fair. I think that's a very great point you made. And also, I want to ask you, I guess, very recent news, like within the last 24 hours, your take on the Las Vegas mass shooting. What are your thoughts about that? I mean, 50 plus people are dead, about 500 are critically injured.
Well, population control.
Okay.
That's what it is. You know, mammals have some interesting things built in. Rats, when you put them in a crowded situation and stress them with too much population for the food supply in the area. It's interesting. They turn to homosexuality, starting with the least dominant rats, male and female, and then it works up, never gets to the dominant males and females, but it is there. Lemmings, they do their thing and they all pile off the cliff to keep the population down. Ancient humans put the babies out on a rock to feed the wild animals and appease the spirits of the land. And we go on mass shoot 'em ups. But actually, the record for death is held by Timothy McVeigh, and he used the most common fertilizer made in America. That's ammonium nitrate. You can buy it at any agricultural supply store. Take 200 pounds of it and soak it in dirty engine oil and ignite it with black powder, and you can blow up a courthouse in Oklahoma City. I'm not advocating that, but that's how he did it. So anybody that wants to can go in and buy ammonium nitrate fertilizer. And of course, there's enough dirty engine oil drained out of car crankcases, but they don't do anything about that. And I think, what did he bag? 256 dead? Something like that in Oklahoma City. Oh, frustration. You see, you have a complex society. You don't give people who are marginal in terms of their character and mental capacity to control themselves, you don't give them any place to retreat to. You build up a massive load of interpersonal hostility and aggression. You effeminize the population. And what winds up happening is those who fall too much into this thing nowadays, they say it's good to be emotional, which it's not. But that's the effeminization of the society. You take away the man training, and this guy's raised by his mother. His daddy was in the penitentiary, but apparently from what I'm reading, she told the kids that he died.
Right.
He's been there for a series of bank robberies? So, well, it is what it is. Mama raised boy. Again, it didn't work out too well. He didn't learn how to control himself, even though he was 60-something. It's been going on for a while. He just exploded. A massive load of undisplaced interpersonal hostility and aggression, lack of ability to adhere to male protocols and rituals, and somebody blows. Boom, and they take people out. A population control device.
But
we don't do anything to guarantee that people will have meaningful and productive jobs anymore. Education is a dead end unless you have the money or a home situation that makes your attitude such as to be receptive to education. And we've got matriarchies running the inner cities, and we've got nonsense from the feminists trying to down manhood. So this kind of thing is going to get more common. It isn't a matter of controlling the weapons. There are enough of them that come in with the drugs. We get from Israel large supplies of Soviet model weaponry seized during the Arab-Israeli wars during the 60s and 70s. The U.S. turns a blind eye to them marketing that stuff on the black market, along with opium products, heroin and such from that area, because they supposedly need the funds to do black ops and do what they do to supply the U.S. with information it can't get in the Middle East. You have American-supplied weapons that went down to various places in South America. They come back with the cocaine, and the blind eye is turned to that because the money is supposedly necessary for black ops and to fight drug trafficking and terrorists. And then let's see, there are large quantities of former U.S. military weaponry that comes in from South Korea. They now have an indigenous weapons industry. I believe the company is Daewoo, Daewoo. and they make their own. So they are selling that stuff off on the black market and shipping it along with opium products to the U.S. We turned a blind eye because they needed to deal with funding black ops and stuff against Kim Jong-un, Kim Jong-un, whatever his name is, the one that looks like that bozo Three Stooges character. What is it? Curly?
Mo.
Mo. Mo.
Yeah.
Yeah. A fat Mo. Looks like Curly mixed with Mo. But anyway,
yeah.
We do all of that. Then there's a mass bit coming in from Iraq and Afghanistan. Afghanistan has long been one of the heavy producers of opium products and heroin. Heroin, by the way, is a trademark held by the Hershey's Chocolate Company for a brown-colored addition of refined opium. And in with them comes some more of the Russian-designed weapons. So the stuff that you run into in America is not really military grade, usually, unless it comes in with the drugs, and they can't stop the drugs. They haven't through the war on drugs for the last 40 years. So when the drugs come in, the heavy stuff comes in. What they call an assault rifle is semi-automatic, and unless it's a machine gun with a select fire switch on it, it's not a real assault rifle. Now they're talking about this guy fired automatically. I listened to the tape they have, and they claim it's 90 shots in 10 seconds. That's about at the rate of 540 rounds per second. That's slower than the rate of fire for an AR-15 or M16. That's slower than from an MP5, which is 9 millimeters, so that wasn't involved. And it suggests that somebody had what you call a bump fire device. Bump fire device is a special stock you can put on one. So what happens is you push forward with your support hand lightly. When you pull the trigger on a special little shelf you put next to the trigger, the weapon fires, recoils down the stock. You're pushing forward with the support hand, makes it come back in the battery, which fires it again. It's called bump firing, and that's about what you could get if you practiced at it, about 550 rounds per minute. That sounds like what he did. That's legal, but it is what it is, and the main thing is we can't legislate proper behavior. Laws won't make someone have the right kind of character. And since you can get common fertilizer upon which there are no restrictions at all and do more damage, it's more about what's not being taught to the people that go crazy and play postal on everybody. So that's the main thing. If you cut out the hardware that goes bang, bang, you can get the more powerful stuff, boom. Ammonium nitrate is pound for pound about 1.5 more times, is about 1.5 more times powerful than TNT. Just think about it. What could 200 pounds of TNT do? Well, it would not be as powerful as 200 pounds of ammonium nitrate. So you've got restrictions on dynamite, none on ammonium nitrate. You can sensitize it with potassium nitrate or sodium nitrate, some of which was found in this guy's possession or in a vehicle. So, it's tragic, very tragic, but it's not going to stop. The populations are getting greater. The density is going up. The job opportunities are going down. The income discrepancies and differences are getting worse. So it's going to be a real pressure cooker.
Now, go ahead. I'm sorry, Judge.
I'm through with that one.
Yeah, I was just thinking about all this stuff you were saying. I was just thinking about the fact that how you gonna have gun control laws? This guy didn't have no criminal background or criminal history. Unlike his father, he didn't have any type of flag incidents. Like you could flag, okay, this guy got something in his background that would tell me that he'll do something like this later on. So you got a lot of walking time bombs, silent time bombs walking around in the population there. That's what you're telling me.
Yeah, in other words, you've got already untraceable, years old stuff stashed away, all kinds of stuff. You have as many weapons out there in the public as there are people in the country, essentially. You're not going to get rid of them, can't get them, and then you'll get a political and social disaster if you try to take them, because these are citizens. They're not subjects like in Australia, Canada, and the former English colonies, and what is it there? Commonwealth. I'll tell you, one of the things that they do have the Second Amendment for is so that the citizens themselves serve as a check and balance to the power of government. It's an interesting thing, but people pay little attention to it. Iraq, they talk about the tyrant that ran Iraq.
Saddam Hussein?
Yeah, well, I was going to get around to him. His name's unimportant. Saddam Hussein, and how he was oppressing the people. Well, they don't touch on this, but by Iraqi law, every adult Iraqi male had the right to have a military-grade pistol in his home, one fully automatic assault rifle. There were no limitations on ammunition, and multiple shotguns. So if you have several males in the home, there are several real live AK-47 derivatives there that go rock and roll when you flip the switch or hit the selector, or in this case, it's the combined safety selector dust cover on one. So just think about it. They didn't try to overthrow Hussein, but the U.S. Army and Marine Corps, they could not pacify the civilian population. So maybe they weren't all that upset about Hussein, but they did not feel like becoming subjected to U.S. dominance, and the U.S. could not subdue them. An interesting illustration of why there's a Second Amendment. I'm not advocating anybody go out and get crazy, but it's just a historical observation. So what are you going to do? Solution? You might start going back to that stuff that produced, men that were in control of the situation. You baby them, you mama them too much, you raise them like they're girls. Males represent the aspect of humanity that's caused us to be the planetary apex predator. Planetary. And when you're the best killer on the planet, it's kind of hard to undo what Mother Nature designed and caused to be evolved, and start talking about we're all going to be nice little passive so-and-sos because we want them to be frilly. I don't know if I sent you this. It's something I pulled down off of Twitter. I just took a screenshot of the page. It's some absurd buffoon with his hair done up wild, and he is doing something to this infant's hair or 2-year-old's hair. And his wife writes in, "I'm so proud of my husband." What did she say? He gave our son, our youngest, a vinegar rinse and a retwist. So they got this boy punking his son out. And his wife approves of it. Just disgusting. But see, that's where we're going. And it's not just us. It does it for mainstream white society, too.
So you think this Donald Trump era is giving rise to the angry white man, like this Michael Douglas falling down character? This is what we're going to see more of now with these mass shootings and whatnot.
Oh, no. These other mass shootings, the last three big ones were under the Obama administration.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them were under Bush. They go back to the Clinton administration. They go back to George Herbert Walker Bush Sr.
Mm.
See, they go back further than that. And then they didn't include the one where somebody got up on the top of a building at the University of Texas and shot up a bunch of people in the 60s. But you know how they got him down?
How?
Some of the students and some of the citizens went home or went to their cars, got their rifles, and put down a barrage of fire, pinned the guy down, and they got it.
They say, now that guy I know you're talking about, he had some type of tumor or something. He had a brain tumor or something that caused him.
Know. It was on top of a building down in Texas.
Yeah, I know he killed. I think he killed his wife and his mom or something like that. I remember reading about that, a case study on that. That was an interesting case study.
But truly, it's getting very fragmented out there, and there's a lot of aggression and a lot of violence that's surfacing. It's actually gone down from what it used to be 20 years ago, and down even more so rather than what it was 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
What's happening is that the mainstream media finds it's good for ratings, so they're giving you a dose of what they did not give you 40 years ago, 30, 25, 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It keeps you tuned in for the latest developments.
Mm.
That's good for selling advertising spots to commercial sponsors.
Look, I'm gonna ask you this because I'm thinking about you. Talking about Donald Trump, he popularized the phrase "fake news," and he caught a lot of flack and a lot of scrutiny and pushback on how he has been, I guess, from perception point of view, handling Puerto Rico hurricane crisis and other things. Yeah, what's your take on that, on his leadership ability?
They really should have roasted George W. Bush for what happened in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
Trump could have done better. I would just say that when you become the ratings creature of the mainstream media, they're going to make you look bad. It keeps you tuned in to get angry.
Mm-hmm.
Or it keeps you tuned in to get angry because they're tromping on your boy.
Mm.
So it's good for their business. They love Trump. I mean, they're making a lot of money behind Trump. Their ratings were going down because, let's face it, there's only so much news that you will find on a day-to-day basis without really hunting for it unless there's a war or something going on.
Mm-hmm.
And Trump's a godsend to them. And they just hype. They love it. But it gets a little boring. Every comedian that's on TV, that's all they talk about is Trump. Hey, dude, get some new material. Done this, you come on for an hour, 5 days a week, and all you've ever talked about is Trump. You must be getting a hard on or something.
Mm. So, but does it solidify his Trump point that this news organizational industry complex is nothing but fake propaganda stuff?
I've been saying something like that for years. People are. You notice when the right wing says it's all liberal and the liberals call it's all right wing conservative, it's a big hype. Most of them, they really don't give a damn other than they have an agenda, the LGBT feminist agenda. It's their right to push it. They've got the First Amendment that gives them the opportunity and the license to do what they want to do with that. And they've run with it. We never did anything with that when it came down to advancing black rights, except when somebody was trying to help and said something good about it.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, it seems the hot topic is the badmouth straight black men. What's the thing they resurrected of straight black men or the white men to the black community?
Right. What's your take on that? That's interesting.
Oh, that's just part of this feminist attack on manhood. And they use black men as the scapegoat for everything and the trial balloon for every stupid position an idiot can come up with, but they're using us again as a target. So there we go. Sort of another edition of last hired, first fired, first in the penitentiary.
Now, I'm asking you, can alpha male be a feminist? Is it possible for an alpha male to be a feminist?
I don't see how.
I know a lot of, this is interesting. I went to an academic conference.
It's not natural for women to run things that involve men. That's not a natural state of mankind.
But,
there's this thing called sexual dimorphism.
Okay.
Men are larger and stronger than women. So since so much of being a leader is the alpha male, or the alpha males are the closest to the danger. There's the danger, there are the alpha males, they get backed up by the beta males, and then there are the women. So that's the basis for personal power in the primate world in which we sit at the apex. So women don't fit that. They've got all kinds of other things that we need them for that are being neglected these days because they're being fed this feminist nonsense about they should be in charge. And what it works out for the poor young women is that they think they ought to be men, and men ought to be the ones that get pregnant. But that's stupid, because that just meant that, hey, the dice got thrown. So on the 50-50 chance you had, you turned up a man this time and somebody else turned up to be a woman. Yin yang, each gender has its strong points, and it has those points where it can stand in when everything else has gone wrong. The women can take the wall that surrounds the village when, this is the last stand. But what happens is, if the village loses, the conquerors tend to take the women, put them in their harems, or make them their concubines or lovers, and in 2 generations, the descendants are part of the ruling class. The men, meanwhile, are moldering in their graves.
Mm.
And if there's something dangerous, men have to be in the forefront to handle it. So that means an essential part of this yin-yang thing is women are a resource to be protected, and men are expendable in the protection thereof.
So they bring me to my other point. Should women be soldiers then? Should they be active duty combat soldiers?
No.
Okay.
I think that's misbegotten, and it's wrong. See, this society has been built on this deference that men give to women. They protect women. Now, if you put them in a combat unit and that kind of reactive process goes on, the combat unit's utility is dropped. The counter to that is reprogramming the young males that are in the military to treat the young females as though they were another one of the guys who can take a bullet too. The problem with that is that you will send that back out into the civilian world that will last quite a few more decades and become pervasive in society. So what's your problem with that? You get back to the Mother Nature thing about sexual dimorphism. Men are larger and stronger than women when it comes down to doing physical damage. That being the case, you get more domestic violence, more of that kind of thing, and the women don't like that idea. But you see, you put them in the military and you produce that modification. One of the things that goes on that enhances the domestic violence situation now is you've taught the boys that there is no such principle as boys are stronger than girls, therefore boys should never hit girls. You get idiots jumping up and down saying that's not right. You can't teach boys they're stronger. Okay, then nobody has a domestic violence docket in the criminal courts anymore.
Mm.
It's an unreality. And you get these boys fed on a diet of this stuff, and they play these video games where the avatar may be female. And you get boys having a female avatar. That's disgraceful. You don't do that, but they do. And they think, based on the avatar and the stuff they have on television and in the movies, these girls can go kick 5 dudes in the butt before breakfast to work up an appetite. So, a fist fight is between equals. So girls are equal to boys that way too. So punch them in the jaw. That's the way they think. And that's wrong because men, are designed to protect the women of their home group, their tribe, their families, their neighborhoods, and their communities, which is what's gone wrong in our communities. See, instead of protecting the women, the boys have been raised in a matriarchy and they don't have that value imprinted on them. So they go around putting yeah, man, I got my hoes out in the street. See, that's unmanly. You slap your woman around just because you got an emotional problem. See, it ain't done. That's not to be done. You live off of women, you simp, because you didn't get raised to have a drive in your soul to be a provider. You think like a girl. And girls used to be into this thing of seeing who they could find they could take care of them. So these dudes get raised like a girl and they go out to find a woman to take care of them. And that's not good for anyone.
I mean, I had so many thoughts. I was thinking about, I had a situation today where I went to the bank and I saw the bank teller. I didn't know if, it was weird, man. Like, it was he looked like a she, but I don't know if he was going through an operation or he wanted to be called a she because he had his hair a certain way. He had fingernails. It was like very well manicured, and he looked like very androgynous. And I kept on calling him sir because I wanted to. My thing was he must be a sir. Or yeah, I said and I said hold on, man, hold on. I don't want to disrespect you. He said no, I'm a man. I said okay. Yo, man, okay, cool. I didn't know how to, you ever been in a situation, Judge, where you trying to figure out if it's a he, she, and you don't know how to address the person?
You ever been seasick?
Sir?
You ever had motion sickness,
seasickness? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What happens is your ears telling you one thing, your eyes are telling you the other.
Yes, sir.
So in other words, your eyes are telling you this is supposed to be a woman, but your mind is telling this is not a woman. It
right.
kind of puts everything off,
Yeah, it was crazy. I didn't feel embarrassed. I think other people was wondering the same thing too, because they smiled me a knowing smile when I left the bank.
Yeah.
It's a different world, man. It's just an interesting place to be in right now.
Yeah. I don't think some of this stuff is going to work out well in the long run, but it's a social experiment that has not been completed, and some people want to act like it's a done deal. It's like they changed the style of child rearing about 45, 50 years ago based on that clown, Dr. Spock. And it was an experiment that's still in progress, but they try to treat it like it's a done deal, so everybody follows that kind of nonsensical stuff, and you can see how stuff falls.
Yeah, but just like you said, it's population control. It's a form of population. When men and women stop having sex and reproducing, that's a form of population control. It's a systemic style of genocide. It's like a nuanced way of doing genocide.
Yes, it is.
And we're not honest about it. A lot of us not even really honest about that.
It's just exactly that.
Because even with... go ahead.
I'm looking for something. Speaking of this, men and women in the military.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of explanatory. Let me find it. Okay. This is reported in BBC, but it's the same thing. Female RAF recruits paid compensation for marching industries. Female RAF recruits to be paid compensation for injuries reportedly suffering while attempting to march alongside male colleagues and keep up with them. They claimed being required to parade alongside taller male recruits caused them to overstride and develop spinal and pelvic injuries. It is understood they will receive £100,000 from the Ministry of Defense. The Ministry of Defense said the RAF had now reviewed its recruit training practices to reduce the risk by slowing down the pace of its troops as they march.
Interesting. Wow.
The women told them all, the Mail, the paper, on Sunday, they had extended their strides to 30 inches, i.e., 76 centimeters, over several weeks while undergoing basic training, attempting to keep up with the male recruits. RAF official policy now sedates female recruits should not be expected to extend the length of their strides beyond 27 inches, that is 69 centimeters, and the marching pace of mixed units should be adjusted accordingly. Also, as well as marching in step with male colleagues, the recruits claimed that carrying the same heavy packs as males, it also contributed to their injuries. So what are you supposed to do in a military unit that has a mission? You're supposed to compromise the mission because women who are in the unit can't carry the load and they can't keep up. Doesn't that sound a little bit screwed and likely to reduce combat efficiency?
Well, most definitely. Yes, sir. You know, people talking about equal pay, but you can't do equal work. Is it really fair?
Listen to this. When I started getting pains in my groin trying to keep up with their long pace, I was told to march through it, even though when I was carrying a heavy pack, which was almost my same size and weight, I really felt bad that they told me to push through it. So what do they tell you in boot camp? Yeah. 100,000 pounds.
You know, it reminds me. I remember I used to work in the hub in FedEx. We called it the plantation when I was going to school during the summer months, and we had women there with the men. But sometimes I saw the dudes helping the women, you know, push the boxes and all this lift boxes. I'm saying we're doing the same work. How come we're getting paid the same when I'm doing a little bit more than you? If I'm assisting you with your labor, why are you still getting the same pay I'm getting? I should be getting some of your pay.
Good question, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. But they were using that. Women were trying. They knew how to be women at that point. They knew how to be vulnerable and frail, whatever. So I can't lift this. Can you help me? I said, okay. But I'm doing extra work, and we're on the same shift, and you still get paid the same?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to get equal pay, do equal work.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, you know, we've got this thing with single parent head of household. They need the money.
Yeah.
But you see how that got set up? What policy pushes that? I can understand a woman who becomes a widow. I can understand a woman who's single because she's divorced. But we've got these women who started off being single, had the first one, started off, had the second one by a different guy single, third, fourth, and fifth. That gets a little crazy.
Yeah. I mean,
we've got some, and see, look at the downside of it. The home is being broken up because of the lack of a proper socialization and acculturation of the males.
Mm-hmm.
In America right now, 7 years ago, 42% of all Americans 35 and under, white, black, brown, red, yellow, 42% of them are illegitimate. They're born out of wedlock. 7 years ago, we had a situation where 32% of American undergrads were male. That's all. 68% female. That's just not black folk. That's including the white folk.
Mm-hmm.
For grad students, it was 36% of the grad students were male, 64% female. For high school graduates, it's only 28% of the high school graduates are male. 72% are female. That's each year.
Mm-hmm.
Then when you get to the workforce, only 44% of the workforce is male. Now, that shows you something is going wrong in the society when you include all races and ethnicities in that mix. You would think, well, it's got to be the black community, man. No, it's not. It's the whole of the U.S. community. You know, some idiots, I've seen major newspapers run editorials that this is because boys play video games too often. That's not what it is. It's the way they're getting raised now. Single parent in a household is bad for boys. It hurts them in the things they have to go through to be men. They don't get the proper training. They have to get it on their own, and sometimes that's hard.
Well, yes, sir.
It can be done, but most of the time it isn't. You can see that going to a restaurant these days. Go to an ordinary restaurant, not the upscale ones, and you see all of these kids running around acting a fool, standing up on the chairs or the benches at the booths, and they're yelling and screaming, and nobody's telling them to shush. And then they take off running and then come back, and, it looks like you didn't have any home training, and that reflects on your parent who didn't know how to do it. You see, you can see this. You didn't see this 5-10 years ago. You didn't see this.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going on?
I mean, I guess it's like kids out here having kids. I mean, like, I know people who are grandparents and they're not even 40 years old yet.
I know.
It's interesting. They're not bad people, but it's like, wow, what no choices. Like, you get down, like you said, it's choices that people make. But, like, are they well informed? It's like you look at a lot of kids now, like, when I go to school situations, I see kids acting a fool in the schools. Then I start thinking to myself, they probably act like this because they got to be the grown folks at home, that they're taking care of little brothers and sisters at home. They the latchkey kids.
I think what they see at home is nobody acting like an adult. They may try to be the adult,
right,
but they don't know how to. You see, kids learn by emulation. They copycat what they see.
Right.
And if what they see is screwed up, then they copy something screwed up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, see, let me give you an anecdote. I'm sitting in a restaurant, and there are 5 rather well-fed young women who have 6 or 7 kids with them who are totally out of control.
Right.
So they are scheming because this guy is supposed to meet one of them there, and they're talking about how they're going to trick him into picking up the whole tab for 5 of them and all 8 or 9 of these kids. So the kids are really being a nuisance.
Mm-hmm.
One came over to the table I was sitting at, tried to reach up and get a piece of bread off the table, talking about he didn't feel like. I said, "Get away from here. I should go see your mother." "But I'm on bread." I said, No, that's rude. Go and find your mama. So anyway, when this guy came, they kept saying, "Go get that kid. He's running. He's so bad." And they were calling him the N-word, the kid, and,
mm-hmm.
really embarrassing. So the guy got him 3 or 4 times. He came back and said, "Look," he said, "keep these kids under control. I'm not going to go fetch the one the next time he gets up. You need to put them under control. Oh, they need to be able to express themselves, etc." So they got up one more time. He said, "I'll go there." So he got out of their view, but I could see him. And he flagged the waiter over and said, "What's my part of it?" He said, "No, I'm not picking that whole thing. What did I order?" He said, well, cancel my order, but I'll pay it for you anyway. And gave the guy a $20 bill for a tip, paid his part of it, or at least he didn't cancel the food order. Said, I'm gone. So he left. I could see him get in his car.
Mm-hmm.
So, where's so-and-so? And what did he do? He must have took him to the bathroom, girl. So after a while, they could hear some confusion, and it was this kid. Where is he, so-and-so? I told him to go get this little N-word. And I said, ma'am, I think he's left. Left. I said, was he riding in, I think he had a blue Camaro. Was he riding in a blue Camaro? That's him. I said, well, he paid his tab and left. He said he couldn't be handling these unruly kids anymore. You're on your own.
Wow.
Oh. So, yeah.
Oh, smart brother. He saved himself a lot of headache and misery.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And so what happens was that when there's no man in the household or situation, the women say, I don't need a man. The daughter says, I don't want a man. And the youngest child, a boy, says, I don't want to be a man.
Mm. Wow. I see a lot of that. Yeah.
Cartoon I saw.
Sir?
I picked that up from a cartoon about the subject. I don't need a man. I don't want a man. I don't want to be a man.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are, because like you said, the hetero black male is under attack in this society. We have the least power, it seems, but we the most feared. Just to be a man and stand up for himself. I mean, that's the most feared, the black man. And people love and hate and admire the black man, it seems. And they don't. And I see a lot of guys do want to take that very effeminate approach. I even look at that how they treated, James Baldwin versus Malcolm X and Medgar Evers and Dr. King. Those guys didn't make it to 40, but they left James Baldwin live to be almost 70 years old. And James Baldwin would say stuff, but he was effeminate. He was gay. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, not knocking him, but it's interesting.
He's not a threat anymore. He's another sexual object for those who have exotic tastes.
Exactly.
See, that's a whole different ball game. See, we've talked, we have a lack of black national leadership. Interestingly enough, Kaepernick is being a black leader of the classic sorts. In other words, he galvanized people to take up a cause.
Mm-hmm.
He's not being the spokesman. He hasn't said anything at all. He led. See, he's opened up a future for himself as a leader.
Mm-hmm.
Now, actually, this thing that's in play right now, hurting the NFL because they treated him the way they did, and inspiring the players and now owners to take the knee and protesting the anthem as being racist, as a protest against also out of control police doing bad things to black citizens.
Mm-hmm.
It's gotten to a point where the most important thing is not that anymore. It's the fact that it's producing leadership, Kaepernick. And he's made the sacrifice of a lucrative salary as a football player. The teams are talking about they can't hire him back because of the drop in revenue, but they're losing it anyway because apparently 40-some% of the fans are black people. We just have to follow our sports, and 61% of the players are black. So, it's got effect. Actually, I don't think the mission can be accomplished because whatever they do to the NFL, I doubt it will have a sufficient impact on the local police departments to cause them to change what they do. But it does bring attention to the subject.
Mm-hmm.
And what it does do is it radicalizes the population so they start thinking about taking action, and what they would not have done before becomes acceptable. You've got three things involved in it now. You've got those who are demonstrating in support of what Kaepernick was doing. You've got those who can't stand Donald Trump, so they've joined in just to shoot the bird to Trump. And then you've got people who aren't watching because they're turned off by the protest. So there are three things going to reduce NFL's ratings and revenue, which, since it's a private business enterprise, is good for the home team, us. But that shows that we have some economic clout when we develop it. But, nobody black was able to galvanize anybody to do anything like that in recent times.
Mm-hmm.
So more power to the young brother. He is making himself effective national black leadership.
But
Which is the thing.
But I know what's interesting. Like his protest was initially about police brutality, but I could recall over several years of athletes not raising up for the anthem. Like I remember the basketball player down with the Dallas Mavericks. I think his name was Josh Howard, a black man who refused to stand or salute during the national anthem, and it caused a big of a stir. But
yeah.
But they don't talk about that. I mean, Carlos Delgado, the baseball player, the Puerto Rican baseball player, he didn't stand for the national anthem. He was an all-star baseball player.
Yeah, I know. And see, they mistreat Puerto Rico. They've been doing it right now. So, it's nothing new. Back in the 60s and early 70s, we just didn't stand up in the stands. Everybody stayed seated up in the stands.
Mm-hmm.
They're mistreating black folk, trying to get all of us being the first to die over in Vietnam and first to die in the neighborhood, getting shot down by police, last to be hired and jacking everybody around. We got a little thing going, but see, right now people are coasting because black folk got it going on. It wasn't behind civil rights, peaceful, nonviolent demonstrations. It was those brothers in the hood that got the burning stuff down during the riots.
Right.
Now, I'm not advocating that, but just as a historically based observation, that's what seemed to have motivated black gains in the late 60s and early 70s.
Yes, sir.
That's consequence. But, you're not going to get anything big anybody. If they give it to you, they can take it back.
Yeah,
if
that's
they
true.
are doing it as a payout, we need the natives to stop being restless, that's a different kind of thing. Now, I was on a radio show, ColIN, and it apparently has a national audience, so I upset some people saying what I'm saying right now. Not a whole lot, but some.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of sort of... go get screwed. You need to hear it. I don't care if I upset you. That's not my thing.
Yes, sir.
I'm about telling you the truth. If you don't like it, check yourself.
No, but yeah.
They can advocate for LGBT, feminism, all kinds of crazy stuff. Well, we can advocate for manhood, can't we? I mean,
yes,
there it is.
That's it. And it's interesting you said, because Kwame Ture said the same thing you said about when they burned down cities and when they got the money from the government. When Lyndon B. Johnson started writing those checks and started those programs. But also with the NFL, what's happening too is the Department of Defense has spent so much money in the NFL for them to promote patriotism and the national anthem and whatnot. So it's hurting the Department of Defense as well too.
Yeah, that's why everybody's talking about this is anti-military.
Mm-hmm.
That's some BS that got interjected because the pressure is on. Hey, we put the money in there. You need to do something about it. Trump saying to bench these black players or let them go. Well, you can't let go 60% of your damn team. You don't have anybody to play.
Mm-hmm.
And, if the 60% is join hands, or the latest thing is just not come out for the national anthem.
But like you said, it was a time when the football team stayed in the locker room after the national anthem was sung. They came out.
Yeah, well, that's what they are doing now.
Mm-hmm.
And interestingly enough, see, there's something else going on that the media is not making a big thing of, and that's this.
Okay.
NASCAR is good old boy hillbilly stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Red flags all over the place.
Right.
Well, drivers got down on one knee in protest.
Wow. That's saying something. They fly the Confederate flag in NASCAR sometimes too.
Yeah, well, you know what? A lot of them got those Johnny Red flags. Just think about it. That's high treason.
Mm-hmm.
Blood union. So why should you be all in love with Star Spangled Banner when, you know, it represents something that conquered your people, kicked them in the butt?
But also with the national anthem too, that third verse they never sang about them doing stuff to black slaves.
Yeah.
People don't ever talk about that. They never sing that part of the national anthem.
No, but see, it's still part of it.
Yeah.
Now, you know what's crazy about it? The tune that they put the Star Spangled Banner to is an old English drinking song. So how in the world can that song be a drinking song? Well, you know what the gimmick was?
What?
It's hard enough to sing. So when you're drunk, you definitely can't sing it. So the thing is everybody would start laughing and hollering when people would try to sing the drinking song, and it would show how drunk you were. That's what you put the national anthem to the music of. You got to be an opera singer or a pro singer to sing that thing. And then they really hated it when, you know, Marvin Gaye did his rendition, which I think is the best I've ever heard it.
So for the All-Star game, for the NBA All-Star game?
Yeah. They didn't like that. They wanted it traditional. See, some people are creatures of habit. They need continuous reinforcement so they'll feel all right. That's why, you know, shows like Rush Limbaugh and that right-wing talk show genre are good. They have to continuously remind these people of why they hold certain positions. They don't, you know, it's like, why am I going for this? Doesn't really make sense. You know, oh, yeah, that's right. They told me. Okay. There you go.
Wow. That is
boy.
That is
boy.
So have you been looking at football, Judge, NFL football recently?
Nope.
So you don't really miss it at all, huh?
I make a point. They're nice young kids playing ball, getting a lot of money, but quite frankly, they've made the rules so safe. Looks like it's boring to me. They've got more rules. It's overregulated.
So Trump did have a point about football being overregulated or over-refereed.
Yeah, it is. It's like professional basketball. If you watch old film clips from the 60s and 70s, everybody sprinted from one end of the court to the other when the ball got in play. Now they just casually lope along, and, you know, a playoff game is 72-68 or 63. You know, we'd walk out of games in the 60s and 70s if it wasn't that right after halftime. It'd be a dull, boring game. It played the equivalent of prevent defense and stall ball. In other words, you stall to keep the score down, and you try to keep any points from being scored, which makes a pretty dull game. Quite frankly, I think they need to drop the shot clock down to 16 seconds to speed it up.
Well, that'd be interesting. Wow.
Yeah, and baseball is a good way to put yourself asleep if you're insomniac, you know?
Yeah, I want to look at baseball really during the playoffs. This is when it get exciting for me, when something's on the line.
Well, you know what the deal is with baseball. Back before they had even radio, you know, you'd work at the factory or in the fields or whatever. You'd stop, pay your nickel to get in the game, drink some beer, eat some hot dogs with your buddies, watch 4 or 5 innings, then go home and eat your dinner and read about the results the next day in the paper. It was just killing time. And then that became the national sport, and then it coasted. It's 2 double now. You know, something that I found is a very fascinating game to watch. You don't see it much is rugby. It's football without the pads, and it's nonstop.
Wow.
And they tackle.
Without pads. And they don't have a helmet?
No helmets.
Really? No CTE problems?
They're big guys. They tackle. It's vicious, hard fought. They scrabble on the ground for the ball. You can get back up if somebody's tackled you, pass it off after you're down on the ground. You can jump on it and guard it, and then you have a scrum, and then everybody shoves to get to the ball, and somebody loops it out. And there are no downs. You just keep going until, you know, it gets to the point where it can't be moved.
That's fascinating. Wow. That sounds very like mixed martial arts.
Down, everybody struggles to get the ball again.
Wow.
And it's hard hitting. Now, that's some interesting ball. I can see why non-Americans like soccer, because there's a lot of action. They need to do something about soccer, about making that goal area bigger so you can get some scoring instead of 1-1 after 30 minutes of overtime in the game.
Right. But that never caught on here, though. Soccer never caught on here, let alone rugby.
Oh, have you been over here at, what is it, Forest Irene and Shelby Drive?
Mm-hmm.
They have like 12 soccer fields or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And they're packed every evening. I mean, granted, except for the Latinos, what you see over there is a bunch of girls. You don't see boys.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like anything else. You go into a ski shop or a ski school, they've got 23 posters up. You have to look around carefully to find the one out of the 23 that's got a boy in it. You go to a tackle shop, get some riding equipment. I had 16 horses on my ranch at one time.
Wow.
And look around, and everything in there for the girls. You got girls giving horseback riding lessons, English and Western, which is getting crazy. One old cowboy cracked me up. This girl, young girl, 16, was trying to correct his riding style. He said, "Look at here, honey. I've been a serious working cowboy for 40-some years, 45 years. If there's a way to get a course to go from point A to point B and I don't know it, you don't know it either. So don't tell me how to ride. I ain't riding up in here to try and look pretty. I'm working, all right? Horse do what I want him to do, when I want him to do it, how I want him to do it. That's called riding. Not up here you got to hold your hand just like this.
Mm-hmm.
See, but that's the way they do it now.
Wow.
You go to an all-girls school and they have stables. I used to live up in a place called Ojai.
Mm-hmm.
They had all private boarding schools up there for the staff of the girls and children of the rich. Even a few black ones. They all tended to be very pretty, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And you get up there and they had riding stables. So part of the curriculum was teaching the girls how to ride. English. You know, but they didn't have anything like that in any of the private schools for the boys. They had tennis for the girls, but they didn't have it for the boys. They had skiing for the girls, but they didn't have it for the boys. They had soccer for the girls, but they didn't have it for the boys. If the boys wanted to play anything, they could try out for football when they turned 15 and got into 10th grade.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't anything like all of these soccer mom leagues for the girl. And the boys who are little nerds who want to play soccer in America, that's what it is. And the traffic is all backed up because soccer moms are taking the kids to play soccer.
Wow. Well, actually, this like, could it be possible that with the NFL, with the ratings and revenue being on the decline, that we could actually start to embrace alternative sports like rugby and soccer in this country of America?
It might be. But you see, there's a downside to that.
Okay.
One of the reasons these sports are so popular all over the world is guess what?
What?
Guess why? Julius Caesar said it 2,000 years ago. If you want to control the ordinary people, give them bread and circuses, feed them and entertain them with sports events, gladiatorial contests, boxing, wrestling, horse races, and stuff like that, chariot races. And you see, they have these sports so they can control the peasant masses all over the world. They're all into sports, and they get violent and kill each other in stadiums and all of this other stuff and act crazy. That's so they keep their noses out of the politics. They're more interested in, the local village or pub soccer team than they are in politics. Keeps them pacified. So we really need to pay attention to other stuff besides so much sports and other entertainments.
But you know what? And you made a great point. That's like an epiphany point. That's why people are mad about this Kaepernick national anthem thing, because sports is a form of escapism, entertainment.
Exactly.
You don't want to think about this stuff, about police brutality, while you're trying to watch the game, the Sunday night or Monday night football game. I can see what people are pissed off about that.
Yeah, and you got all these little fat nerds up in there, painted,
Right.
with no shirts on, and it's 31 degrees. They're freezing to death.
That's right.
They want to look like their team, and they're yelling, kill, 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 and they never could make a team to begin with, let alone and they're vicariously getting their thrill on, just like the Romans were in the gladiatorial contest.
But at the same time, is it the price of black people breaking their bodies and even their minds? I mean, over this sport, if the majority of the sport,
it's worth it. A lot of them would be stuck in the hood somewhere, broke as can be, except they're good athletes. So they have an opportunity to make big money, and the opportunity, if they had prepared themselves while they were in school, to be businessmen or do whatever they wanted to do, but they don't think that way.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, one of the problems that the players have is their mamas. Their mamas look at them as a meal ticket to wealth, and, they spend the boy's money. They get the boy in hockey, get through playing football, and mama and his sisters and aunts have got all the money going la-di-da. We had a good time. Why'd you stop playing, boy?
You know what? I think too. Like I can imagine LeBron James, like somebody with his type of size and gifts and stuff, could have been a phenomenal baseball player. I look at why not push some of these young black kids towards baseball. I mean, at least they'd be able to walk and remember that they played baseball at the end of their career.
I get with a baseball, and there you go too.
Mm-hmm.
Run into a French, a whole lot of them been crippled trying to get that fly ball from going over the fence from being a home run and got jacked up.
I mean, like I can see King Virginia probably has little issues, but overall, I mean, you can play baseball for 20 plus years easily in comparison to football.
Yeah, but how many people can play baseball? It takes a lot of coordination to do that thing with that little hard spear flying around, throwing it, catching it, and hitting it.
You don't think LeBron James could learn that, though? You don't think it's like LeBron James size and gifts?
See, it's like I played football in college at
UCLA
for a while. I was okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was a safe defensive back,
mm-hmm.
also alternate running back. But, if you put a gun to my head, I couldn't have sunk a basket playing basketball.
Mm-hmm.
But I could cut up playing football.
Mm.
Each person's got their own sport. There are some naturally gifted athletes that can do anything. But everybody, even if they're 17, 18 years old and they're 5'6", they want to play pro football, pro basketball.
Right.
That's the ideation that's been put in their head. That shows you how much a distraction it has become. It'd be easier for them to get their grades, but they're out there trying to shoot hoops so they can become a member of a hypothetical basketball team, but they can't even get in college to get to step one. They all think they're going to be Kobe Bryant and go out of high school and play in the Euro Leagues and then come back and play in the NBA. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, but you also always say now. I'm thinking about people like you have people like Dave Winfield or Tony Gwynn or even Allen Iverson who were very gifted in several different sports. Tony Gwynn, Dave Winfield actually got drafted by the NBA as well as by baseball. And then you got Bo Jackson, of course, and Deion Sanders. But you're right, there are exceptions to the rules. But what are your thoughts about LeVar Ball pulling his son out of high school to homeschool him and train him?
Dumb.
Even though his two sons are doing pretty well at the collegiate and pro level?
Dumb.
Okay, why? Why is dumb?
You need to get along with people.
Okay, I agree with you on that.
Yeah, and the bottom line is, public schools used to be America's secret. That's how we got where we got, was public schools. And they did what they were designed to do. When they integrated them, everybody wanted to bail out because they didn't want any white teacher talking to their black child, or black teacher talking to their white one. They didn't want to go to school with the other ones. And everybody screwed up the public schools for reasons of racism. And private schools started off because you just wanted something so you didn't have to send your kids to mix with the colored, or vice versa.
That's right. That's right.
And see, it's inefficient, and the educational system has dropped in quality over the last 50 years as a result of that. It's not as good as it once was. So we lost, by the way, a good crop of excellent teachers, the women who had nothing else they could do but be teachers. And you got some great teachers, but now they can be doctors, lawyers, business women, all kinds of stuff they might want to do. So teaching is on the, one of the last choices. And that tends to be little half well-to-do upper middle class women who are teaching for 2 years to get their student loans forgiven and get money in so they can pay their new husbands or fiancés way through grad school so they'll be on easy street.
That's interesting. Like, I know people will hear you say this, they might misinterpret. I don't know. Some people say, well, that's like very chauvinistic and sexist for Judge to say that.
Damn, it is chauvinistic. And the world worked all right when it was.
Okay.
Work so well right now. Black folk don't work so well right now because it's become a matriarchy. I don't care what anybody says, whether they like it or not. That's the truth.
Yeah, because they say that black women are the most educated group of people in America. But look at the state of the black men. Like we are maybe.
Maybe. But now let's look at some things that is insulting in one sense to women. But look at all these commercials for shoes. They're ridiculous about shoes. Do you think men go that crazy over shoes? Well, they're not supposed to, but I bet you there are some now that will.
Oh, yeah, I know some people like that, yeah.
Yeah, but just think about it. I hate shopping. If I have something to get, I go in and get it, and I'm gone. I don't feel like lingering. If I'm trying to get something that I shop for, it's a tool or a device, okay?
Right, I hear you.
Now, they like shopping. They like to go through bric-a-brac and pick out smelly candles and, towels. And what the hell is wrong? Get a goddamn set of towels. I don't like the pattern. Who the hell cares? Is it going to dry your butt off when you get a shower?
Right. I'm like you on functionality is key, yes.
But they like that. That's a carryover, anthropologists say, from hunting and gathering. They gathered.
Right.
They picked the right tubers and roots and berries and, plants to eat. That was good. They have sharper color perception than men do. That's so they can tell what was ripe. We like to hunt, sit up there and stalk something. No, stalk something and then kill it, or sit in the blind and patiently wait. Learn how to be still. And by the way, these boys these days don't know how to be still. You go hunting. It's cold as hell. Your nose is running. You have your hands you can't freeze, but it feels right. I'll forget all that Bambi stuff. Oh, you're killing Bambi. Oh, hell. But, I eat it. So it's good.
Right.
I've hunted a long time. But every now and then it feels good to assert yourself at the top of the food chain. Feels wonderful. Gives you this impression. You know what? This is really funny. Like you never go to work a day in your life if you like what you do. Hey, this is, oh, yeah, that's right. This is the design parameters. I'm one of the apex predators. Guess what? It feels good. Women think you're crazy. Most of them anyway. Unless they're putting on a little party and you're going to have wild game pheasant and a quail and, some wild boar or something or venison that you can barbecue. They like that. They like putting on parties.
Right.
That's the dullest thing in the world for somebody like me. But I appreciate having a woman around to do it. They'll make you feel good. Hey, that's really great. Presentation. What the hell are you talking about? Well, it's supposed to look attractive on the plate.
You go, I'm just trying to eat it.
Okay. Very good. I appreciate this. Just put the gravy over here on this, and it'll all be okay. I'm stirring it up. But you can't do that. You'll ruin the presentation. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's good yin and yang. That's a good balance. You're right.
Yeah. Now, women can do some of the same stuff we can, and we can do some of the same stuff they can. But you notice that yin-yang diagram? It's a circle. Part of it is black. Part of it is white.
Right.
And there's a big, fat part of the white part counterposed against the little thin part of the black. And where it's big for the black, it's thin for the white.
Right.
That stands for that yin-yang principle of one sex can do this. That's why it's big right there. They're strong on this. The other sex has that little tail over there. They can do it, but that isn't a strong point, and then vice versa on the other side of the circle.
Right.
That's yin-yang, see. And then there's a center in there. That's that little dot that looks like an eye.
Right.
That's the center. That's the balance of what you are about based on your gender. All kinds of people are, that's California. They want the kids to be able to choose what gender they want to be. So parents are asked not to tell them to act like young men or young women, because that's confusing to them. They may want to be something else. Oh, real recruitment tool there.
You know what? That's what I'm saying. It came out to me like with that bank teller. I didn't know what his state of mind was. I was kind of like confused. Like you said, that motion sickness thing. But where there's confusion, there's chaos. I mean, it's systemic chaos. It's systemic confusion. And you just can't have no clarity. It's like everything's about being ambiguous.
Yeah. And then see, here's the other thing too. If it's a woman, you're out in traffic, somebody cuts you off, you get ready to cuss, and then this woman, oh, well, excuse me, baby, cut me off,
Right. Oh, yeah.
You give deference to women. But if it's a dude, you want to fight. Even the old judge gets, like, what the hell do you think you just did?
Right.
But you see, you get ready to give deference to what you think is a woman, and then it turns out to be a dude, and like, oh, no, you ain't getting away with that.
Right.
See, it signals. The apex predator defers to his females. When the female turns out to be another male, that's like, oh, no, something's wrong here. The signals are crossed.
Yeah. Now,
they've got their right intellectually to do what they want to do. That's what it guarantees them in the Constitution, I guess. But, it causes some serious confusion that society is going to have some answers to, because what they've got right now ain't working. It's all right between them, but it gets kind of crazy when they jump into the already screwed up mix of raising children and make that even more confusing.
Yeah, but what's confusing me is the folks that don't like labels want to put labels on everything. I know for years folks that probably were transgender going to the restaurants that were marked for men and marked for women, but who would know? Unless I'm looking at your junk or whatever, So why you want to put a label on it now? What is all these labeling of things? That adds more confusion.
It's a push. In other words, they've taken control of the media. That's their right to do so. They've propagandized and slowly acclimated the public to aspects of their thing, which is their right to do politically, but it's screwed up the mainstream. And then, see, the mainstream is bought into, it's okay to criticize self, but you can't criticize one of them.
Exactly.
So, you know, somehow there need to be a pushback, like, you do your thing, but just in terms of advocacy, I think that we need to keep this teaching in the schools where we do gender encouragement rather than gender neutrality with the young. If they really truly can't deal with what they are, then I'm sure there's something for them to work it out. But meanwhile, you will confuse many more who don't need the confusion by what you do.
Exactly. Right. That's pretty much interesting. And also, we'll close out. I know we've been dealing with some sports, but I just want to get your take on what happened to former Louisville coach Rick Pitino, and the issue of I guess pay to play. Like, should college players be paid? Like, a lot of these guys will never make it to the professional levels, but their schools have made millions about these guys, and a lot of them will never even get a degree.
No, they shouldn't be paid one dime. You know why?
Why?
Because they're getting an educational opportunity for free. That's most important. It's not, damn it, about playing ball. It's about being a student. And if you can come up with an avenue to get your cost paid for, get a free meal ticket from the school for your athletic prowess, that's enough. Because there are some very important minds out there who get turned away who might make a difference for the people.
Yeah, but what about
athlete doesn't make any difference for the people because that's all he's about is his own little selfish thing and playing ball. And he just perpetrates a harm to the community. Some are good. Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, you know, a few others, they did stuff besides what they did on the field. But otherwise, no, they don't need to be paid one damn dime. It's about athletics supporting education, not you go to an educational institution and waste the space by being a pro. The best basketball coach ever, John Wooten. He was there when I went to UCLA. UCLA's basketball team was undefeated for 7 straight years. Then it lost one game, then it won a whole bunch more, still kept taking championships. When I played football, we'd have to go through the pavilion where they would practice basketball to get to the gym. And you could always hear him out there, gentlemen, you're here first and foremost to be students, not athletes. You are student athletes. I expect all of you to maintain a B grade average, at least in your majors, or you will not play for me. You are smart. You are here because you have athletic talent. This is getting you a free ride through school. So take it with gratitude, and you are a student first and foremost. Gentlemen, you are students. You will just keep hounding that in there.
No, I respect that, John Wooden, but I'm saying like the nature, like the NCAA is getting so much money and general revenue.
It's a perversion.
It is.
It has gone into this thing that Caesar talked about. Give the peasants bread and circuses. And college athletics have become deliverers of that circus part of the equation. You know, it doesn't make any difference. The public is distracted by professional sports and by college athletics. Whole lot of people are stuck in front of a TV set every Saturday watching something. They sit up there, they go to a club, a bar, a restaurant, and they can't have a conversation because they're trying to check out the game on TV.
That's true, but also you think about, remember when the University of North Carolina, the Tar Heels had that situation where they'll giving scholarships to unqualified student athletes that could barely, pass remedial English or read at their level. So you got that situation. Even with University of Memphis with Derrick Rose with the ACT or SAT situation, and the NCAA knew it was some type of weird conflict, but they approved him being a freshman at the University of Memphis anyway. I mean, there's so much money on the table.
Students. See,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's wrong, because out there may be the person that if you got the college education,
Mm-hmm.
or he would be what we need, or what people in general need. He could be the scientist, the doctor, the politician that is necessary, the leader, the businessman, but he's cut off. And you give it some job. What does he do? He may make $1 million or so for himself that he keeps that his mama doesn't spend, or his no good hood rat girlfriend doesn't blow. You know, but what did he do for anybody except distracted and entertained a lot of people? So, I mean, yeah, it can be fun, but the bottom line is while you're paying attention to the person's stats, what are you not paying attention to? You got X amount of time that you have to spend on your job, and then you have X amount of time is spare time. But if you spend it watching sports instead of paying attention to the politics and to the issues and the understanding what's actually going on, you use that time up you don't have because you got to go to work. So while you're paying attention to somebody's on the floor shooting stats or how many yards per carry, you know, other people are paying attention to how to get your money.
That's a good point. Judge, I want to thank you once again for another wonderful discussion. I know people going to have a lot to say about this. And I know the number one question that people ask me is, when Judge going to be back on TV? When is the Judge going to get back on? We need his voice more than ever.
Some people don't want me back on there because I say stuff like this.
Well, as long as we still got the internet, we'll be able to get this stuff out there to the people. And the best way to contact you is still Twitter, correct? To go on your Twitter?
Yeah, Twitter, Judge Joe Brown TV.
Yes, sir.
Judge Joe Brown at Judge Joe Brown TV. That's how you get me. I don't have a blue check, but it's me. They didn't believe it, so I posted a selfie a week or so ago, put it out there, maybe a couple.
Okay, well, I think you'll get that blue check eventually. I don't think there'll be any problems very soon.
Well, you got to have a website. I just haven't taken the time to set up a website. Like, what for?
Well, Celebrity. Like, is this your company, Celebrity?
No, it's not my company now. I was working with them.
Okay.
Might do something with them, but I was trying to help them out and work through them. But they ran into the problem of trying to do some things and insisting on doing it, and got blocked because people say you have to have a track record first. And question kept getting asked, are you gay or are you straight? Straight, but we're not interested.
Interesting. Wow. So what are your words, parting words for tonight you'd like to share with the audience before we get off the air? Anything, any thoughts?
Okay, it's like this. Pay attention to what's going on around you. It's called situational awareness. And that can embrace a lot of things. Quit distracting yourself. Now, athletics can be entertaining, but keep it as a little distraction. Don't make it your main focus. And if you find that you know more about sports than you know the issues that are in front of the public on a regular basis, you're being misled and you're falling into that trap. 2,000 years ago, Caesar said you can control the mob if you give them bread and circuses, feed them and entertain them, and they're too stupid to know what else is going on besides that. So wise up, get wise, and pay attention to what counts.
Thank you, Judge, so much for all that you do and have done and will continue to do In the words of Great Skeleton, we love you madly. Keep on producing and pushing.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'm out of here.
Yes, sir. Roger. Thank you. You too.
All right. Bye.
All right.